Splatoon fans were left disappointed with the reveal of Salmon Run Next Wave. It looks almost identical to Splatoon 2, so I'm gonna do Nintendo's job and make it better. The last trailer for Splatoon 3 was back in September of 2021, almost 5 months ago. Up to this point, we've only had about 5 minutes of footage shown off for the game with a promised release date of 2022. Splatoon fans have been a bit starved, and for the latest Nintendo Direct treating us with confirmation that Salmon Run, a mode that isn't for everyone, is returning, well, it got people pretty pissed off. It looks identical and as if they're doing the bare minimum to the mode. Anyone could have said to add new bosses, and there's only one new mechanic: egg throwing. Unless we're getting more news on the game that hasn't been announced or revealed yet, then we're most likely gonna have to wait a few more months for some new stuff, making fans more antsy than ever. Nintendo's also had a trend recently with barely showing off what's new for their games until the final release, so I'm not gonna doubt that Splatoon 3 will have many new things for players to discover once the game drops. But you can't make a sequel to a game that could have been an update to the existing game on the same hardware, which is the vibe that this trailer gives off. So here's what they need to add to Salmon Run alone to make this a true evolution of the series. Obviously, they have to ditch the off time. No one likes this, and while the time between shifts significantly decreased with them lasting days at a time sometimes, it's still ridiculous we even have to have shifts, let alone with mandatory weapons. How about assigning roles instead, or just not allowing players to use 2 of the same weapon? There could be a system before shifts in which you set an order of your 4 favorite weapons, so when you hop into a game, you automatically start with the first option, but if someone already chose your first option, then it moves to the next weapon on the list, and so on and so forth. But what about wildcard rotations and the Grizzco weapons? Easy, just make those special events that happen randomly. Nintendo can easily replace the standard matchmaking icon with wildcard versions, much like how they replaced all the regular Turf War icons with Splatfest ones during Splatfest. And with this revamp, let's also add more Grizzco weapons for every type. Having a roller that flicks as fast as a carbon with dynamo range, a shooter with sploosh pain output and DPS with splatter shot range, and dualies with infinite dodge rolls would be so much fun. Specials can stay random, but they seriously need to balance out which specials they bring into this mode. Crab Tank and Killer Whale are fine enough, but no Bomb Launcher, Trizooka, or Tenna missiles. Zipcaster could work because it can get you out of tough spots while also being an aggressive special to use, but when you have specials like Stingray paired with Slayers, it destroys the entire use of said special, and gives no opportunity to even use the special. Now, how about the maps? I'd love to see most of the Splat 2 maps return, but for God's sake, get rid of the Lost Outpost and Salmon at Smokeyard. I'm no expert on Salmon Run maps, but any map that restricts movement, which is a core part of Splatoon's design, automatically just makes it terrible. Splat 3's maps need to be big and open with plenty of movement and mobility, and if they're gonna add gimmicks to the stage, make them good. And what if we saw stages from the multiplayer made into Salmon Run stages, like making Salt Spray into this abandoned rig that the Salmonids took over, and we now have to fight on it. It would get overhauled with new layering and tides, seeing as how the original was floating over the water, but adding some more lore into this mode would be really interesting, seeing as how Splatoon already has unbelievable lore. Oh, and another stage thing. Why is there no viewable map in this mode? Adding the ability that's already in the freaking game to view the map, which I do quite a bit, would drastically improve performance in this mode. Instead of swimming around during the 10-second cooldown between waves looking for where the Salmonids are coming from, you can pull out your map, see where the ink starts to come in, and just head there. It would save so much time and even add the ability to super jump, which would be super nice to have alongside egg throwing. Do you know what also would be nice to have? If they got rid of this, and seeing as how it's in this trailer, it really worries me. But this scene right here does not concern me. It looks as if the camera is switching in the same vein that it does in spectator mode in Splatoon 2, so hopefully Nintendo's adding Salmon Run to private lobbies. Assuming you've seen my What Splatoon 3 News needs video, they should add Salmon Run to the list of modes you can set up for random people or friends to join in. And everything should be customizable, meaning the weapons, specials, subs, maps, and even what waves you play on. Unlike what I said for casual giving you points to level up in rooms, Salmon Run shouldn't take or give any points to you and just let everyone have fun playing whatever weapons, maps, and wave types they want. Splatoon really wants you to play the game its way and not your own way, and Splatoon 3 has a chance to break that mold and let people have fun their way without being restricted to this. Let's dive into the big things Nintendo needs to add to this mode, starting off with 3 to 5 player lobbies. I'm a firm believer in having more or less than just 4 players in any of the game modes Splatoon has to offer, and Salmon Run is no exception. However, there shouldn't be less than 3, as I feel like that could make the mode a bit too difficult. It could undoubtedly work, you can do it in the shoal, but for the sake of everyone who doesn't want to lose their professional 500 ranking because their only other teammate DC'd, let's stick with a minimum of 3. But imagine 5 players in this mode with even more challenging difficulty than Professional, dubbed Pro Hunter. Professional now caps at 500, and once you reach there, you become a Pro Hunter, in which the waves get crazy hard, and there's now a 4th wave you and your team must clear. Pro Hunter is also when the King Salmonid shows up, and it lasts all 4 waves and is essentially Salmon Run on crack. I feel like with how big an emphasis and teaser that this thing had at the end of the trailer, it won't just be another unique wave like Grillers or Goldie Seeking. It would last the full 4 waves and be this big boss that you and your team have to defeat together, utilizing the stage, your specials, and memorizing its attack patterns to beat its ass and collect eggs. You must defeat its health bar by the end of each wave, and if you fail to do so, it's gonna raise the tide and drown the entire stage, killing your whole team. Lastly, they need to add an endless mode. There's honestly no reason that this shouldn't be in the game, and it could easily pull in those people hesitant to switch over from 2 to 3. Nintendo is most likely worried about grinding this mode out for rewards and ranking, but there's an easy fix to this. Make it completely separate from the regular Salmon Run, like how Turf War and Ranked are independent now. Yes, there should still be rewards in this mode depending on how far you make it, but it can be a separate option in the Salmon Run menu. It's not complicated to have 2 different systems for points and rewards because they already do. And speaking of rewards, make them better. Instead of giving people like me who have an abundance of money more money that we don't need, give people exclusive Salmon Run coins for them to spend on exclusive Salmon Run merch. This store could have exclusive gear, hairstyles, legwear, eyebrows, basically all the customizable features that I featured in this video need to be in here with exclusive items. There could also be weapon skins and regular things like tickets to Krusty Sean's food truck, but let's still keep the monthly exclusive gear, some money, tickets, and other items you get for rewards. Having that exclusive currency to Salmon Run would incentivize people to play the mode and maybe even enjoy it more than Splatoon's Salmon Run once they see all the improvements that Nintendo hopefully takes from this video and adds to the game. There have been less than 10 minutes shown off from Splatoon 3. We have no definitive release date, and there hasn't even been confirmation that there will be a Splatoon 3 Direct, which would showcase all the new features this game has to make it stand out from Splatoon 2. And speaking of 2, that game's trailers kept a lot of features hidden from the players until release. So while this trailer for Salmon Run Next Wave may not be great, there's still a lot of promise to be had with Next Wave and Splatoon 3 in general. The bosses look good, having elements from Splat Zones and Tower Control respectively, but they can still make bosses based on the 5 new and returning specials. Rainmaker, Clam Blitz, a new mode exclusive to 3, and just even plain original bosses. Splatoon 3 has undoubtedly had the most development time out of the 3 games, and with the Switch's lineup for this year, I doubt Nintendo would put out a game that feels like Splatoon 2.5. Yes, this trailer is worrying in some ways, but, well, rewatch the video if you're still worried. Like the vid, subscribe, comment unless your name is Jaden, and I'll see y'all on the flip side.